the link to the file, but yep. So today we're working on design systems. This is probably my favorite topic of all the Figma Fridays, which is why I chose to teach it. But yeah, so the goal of the workshop today is to go from medium fidelity to high fidelity really, really fast. And design systems can help us get there really, really fast. And I'll show you guys later how to do it within like 10 minutes. But yeah, it's kind of like magic, and Figma makes it really intuitive to use, which is really good. Okay, so some questions that design systems can bring up are why are some products fun to use while others aren't? Why is it that some experiences feel consistent throughout and others feel like a mess? And finally, why is it that some experiences feel familiar and easy to use while others don't? And the answers to all of these questions have something to do with design systems. And the things related to design systems like color scheme, branding, fonts, typography, things like that. So design systems is more about like the visual side of things. And here's a quote for inspiration. So being a good designer, being a good visual designer requires intentionality, which means that you're thinking through each of these questions and answering them as you're making design decisions, not only when someone asks you the question after the fact. So you're choosing the colors, the typography, because you want to convey a certain identity, a certain theme, not because you like think it looks good. Well, it should look good, but like there should be more justification behind that than just that. Cool. So just a little game to get us warmed up. So we're gonna play Guess the App. So based on the colors displayed on the screen in these rows, you guys are going to guess which app the colors represent, and then we'll see how well we do. Okay, so does anyone have any guesses for the first one? These three. Oh, also I can't see the chat, so it might be better if you guys just speak up.
I want to say Twitter or Facebook.
You're right. It is Twitter, the iconic blue. Okay, what about for the second one? It's another app.
Snapchat.
Yep, you guys are good. Okay, I think this one is a bit harder. What do you guys think this one is?
Spotify.
Yep, you guys are good. Okay, this one, oops. Yeah, this one.
Wait, Alyssa, can you close the frame on the side? I think they're
Yeah,
reading,
yeah.
reading the answers.
Wait, oh shoot. My like what is it called? My Zoom thing is there, so I didn't see it. Oh my god. That is embarrassing. It's okay. Yeah, what about this one? This one is pretty big. They just did I think they just like relaunched, not recently, but like within the last year they did all their logos into like one specific color system, and everyone was freaking out on the internet.
Is it Google?
Yeah, you got it. Okay, what about this one? this one, I'll give another hint. Should I give a hint? I feel like I'm saying too much, but it got really big over last summer when quarantine started.
Jade said TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I can't see the chat.
It's cool. I'm here to help you read and like send like, out to new people, so you're fine.
Okay, and then this last one. There's a lot of colors, but
I feel like that's got to be Instagram.
yep. Yay, you guys are really good. Yeah, so these colors built into the design system can really represent the app well, and like even shown by this exercise, just giving you a couple of the colors in the design system can really invoke certain associations with these apps. So that is part of the power behind design systems. So what exactly is a design system? Well, the definition of a design system is that it is a single source of truth that centralizes a company's best practices and unites teams to build products at scale. And it should provide guidance about what to do, when you do it, and why. And here's a key insight. Oops, how do I? Yeah, so design is a communication toolkit, and a design system basically centralizes the best practices related to that. Yeah, so that you can just repeatedly like refer back to the design system when you're going from mid fidelity to high fidelity to make sure all the designs are centralized around a certain theme and standardized. Yep. So these are the parts of a design system, or what you may be familiar with already. So first we have high-level articles. These are like medium articles that really talk about pre-existing design systems and using interviews, case studies, talking about opinions or events related to the company, and goes behind like the reasoning of why the company chose these certain design decisions, including like colors, branding, things like that. Style guides also exist on the internet, and they lots of companies have their own very specific style guides, and these include things like fonts, color, spacing, iconography. So if you guys have done like a DPD case study, you guys can definitely look up a style guide like online or in the Figma community and be able to see like the fonts, color, spacing, and iconography they use. So something else relating to design systems is a component library. So these are made on Sketch or Figma or any other design tool, and really show the design system one-on-one with the code. And this sort of connects the devs and designers together because all the different components of a design system, so like the colors, the spacing, the icons, are centralized into one library so that designers can hand it off to the devs easier, and then the devs can implement that without having to dig through a lot of the specific design work. And then for documentation, it explains how to use each component for devs and designers. So basically it's like just more explanation about the style guide, like where specific fonts, colors, icons should be used throughout the design to make sure that devs and designers are like implementing the same type of design system and making that centralized brand. So why do we use design systems? Well, we can think of design systems as helping piece together or helping. So a design system is like a piece of a Lego, and you can piece them together to overall create a finalized product that looks really nice and is really consistent and like represents the branding well. So a design system makes like it makes like the designs easier to develop. So for handoff, it makes it easier to pass it off to developers and understand the intentionality behind where fonts colors should be used. It makes an app or a platform easier to scale. So if you're going from like mobile to web or web to mobile, you can refer back to a design system and make sure that it looks consistent across multiple platforms. And then a design system also makes it easier to communicate the branding and just the overall platform and the like mission. And it's key to how large teams produce consistent, high quality experiences at scale. So every like big app that you guys use has a design system. So you might notice that like if you open Instagram on like your phone, and if you open Instagram like on a web browser, it pretty much like you can tell that it's the same platform because of the design systems that Instagram has implemented and used. Cool. Are there any questions before we move on? Cool. Okay. So then we'll go into like actually working on a design system ourselves. So this is a style guide. Yeah, wait. So at this point, it'd probably be good to make sure that you have the file duplicated into your own Figma so that we can all work together to create styles and then work on creating an overall high fidelity screen. And the app we're going to use today is Spotify. And then if you duplicate the file, you will have all of these pages to use. So, yep. Okay. I will go into what actually creating styles on Figma looks like. So first we can start off with typography. So those are like the fonts you see, the sizes of those fonts, the boldness of those fonts, and how they overall play in a design system. So in order to create a font style on Figma, you can select the certain text that you want to create as a style, go to the text panel. Here you can see these 4 dots in a square formation. This is how you create a style. So you click on it, add a style, and then we can just name it whatever. Well, for the sake of this, I'm just going to name it the designated location. So for this one, I'm going to name it this, and then we're going to create a style. And then when you click out of it, it will be stored here in text styles. So that when you want to refer back to it, you can just type something here, and then to make sure that it follows that style, you just click on it, and then yeah. Cool. And then we'll just do the same with all of these. We're not going to do these for the sake of this workshop because they aren't in the later exercises. But yeah, so you guys can go ahead now and make these styles. I'll do them alongside you guys. Yep. If there's any questions, feel free to type in the chat or speak up.
I thought this would just be a fun fact to include while you guys are making the styles, but Spotify does not actually use Roboto. It uses Circular SD, but that's a property font, meaning you guys would have to pay for it and download it prior to the workshop. So we had to choose like a Google font that's like standard across all computers.
Yeah. So certain companies like brand have very specific branding, so they create like their own fonts for their own purposes. Oops, I forgot to copy this.
Yeah, just like to build off what Alyssa said, I think a company that also does this is Google. Like they have like a specific Google font called Product Sans, which I found to be very interesting.
Cool. Oh wait, I have one last one. It was so big I didn't even notice it. Yep. So when you finish, they should all be on the side, on the right side in the panel. Yeah. Let me know if you guys need any more time on that or have any questions relating to that. If not, we can move on to the next section of the design system for Spotify, which is colors. So this is this iconic Spotify green, and then also like the different blacks that Spotify uses. Yep. So to save a color as a style, it's basically the same process, except now it's in the fill section of the panel. So say again, you click on those 4 dots, then the plus button, and then you want to name it something. You want to name it either primary or like secondary or whatever other color you're dealing with. You might not want to name it like green because there's less indication of where this green will actually be used throughout the system. Then this will be primary. And then you can see it's stored here on the side. And the good thing is Figma gives you a preview of like what the color is. So even if you do forget that primary is green, you can look back at it, like briefly glance at it, and you can see that it's green. Yeah, so this just makes it easy. So if I want to like create my own, if I want to use this color again, I can just go here, click on primary, and then this will be the color. And then I don't have to use like the picker tool and then scroll across the screen to pick up that color. So it just makes it easier to use. And then for neutrals, we can also save these as styles. So for neutrals, I personally like to name them like as how, or Spotify has a lot of blacks. So I personally would name them as like how black they are. So it might be like black 100%. Like this one would probably be like black 75%. This one would be like gray, and then this one would be like white. But yeah, when there's typically like different shades, you can name them as like percentages of each other if they're close enough. So this one, I'll make it this one. Name it black 75. This one is white. And this one will be gray. Cool. Okay, are there any questions about this part before we move on? Or if you guys need more time, feel free to speak up. Cool, sounds good. Okay, and then the third part of a design system is spacing rules. But for the sake of this workshop, we're not actually going to implement this. But if you wanted to, you would make a grid system, use it on Figma, and then you'd measure out like each of these types of spacings and then put them in. But yeah, for the sake of this workshop, we won't do that because it's not as important as the other parts for now. Okay, and then the last part of a design system or a UI kit is assets. So that is basically like different icons. You'll see the different like components, like the different sections and that you'll see throughout the app. So here we have like artist, here we have like I think this is like friend activity, yeah, like specific like basically specific components or icons you'll see throughout the whole system. Yep. Here I think these assets are already in the library for you guys, so you guys don't have to actually put them into the library yourselves, but we'll show you how to do that later. But in order to access assets, you just go to the left panel, click on assets, click on the page you're in. So right now, I think we're in style guide. Yeah, we're in style guide. This frame is called color for some reason, but they'll just be stored here. So if you ever need these on a separate page, you can just like drag them in and then they'll be here. So you don't have to recreate them again. Yep. But yeah, are there any questions so far? Cool. Okay, so then we'll move into more of the actual activities we're gonna do. So now we're going to recreate some of the components of a Spotify screenshot. So looking at these highlighted green sections, we're just gonna recreate those really fast. And then after doing that, we can turn them into components. So here, I'll just walk you guys through like some of the basic ones. So here we're going to try to recreate music and podcasts. So these would just be text. So here we want to make sure that the sizing and this is the same. So typically you can just like adjust the size here, but since we created these text styles that you have saved, we can actually just use these. So is this the correct one? Oh,
I think it's just section name because you're not on the home screen.
Oh yeah. So this would go here. And then you can also do the same for podcasts. Yep, and the fonts are slightly not the same because like Tisha said, we didn't pay for the fancy Spotify font. So we're just gonna use this one, but it still conveys like the same like gist. So yeah. Wait, do we componentize them here, Tisha?
We componentize them on the next page, but yeah, you can just recreate like most of them here. Just show them a couple more.
Yeah. So here I'll make this white using the colors, and then yeah, basically recreated that part. Here we can do these. Okay, so this is definitely too big, but we can detach the style and then add the correct style in. So this is tab name. Make sure the text wraps, and then this goes here. There's a line at the bottom, so we're going to put that in as well. If you guys want to make a straight line, make sure to hold shift as you drag. You're going to put the color in, and then increase the thickness. Yep, that should be right. Yep. Oh. Yep. Okay. And then just copy this to do artists and albums. Oops. Okay, and then we're going to change the color of playlists to white. Yep, and then you just do these for the rest. For specific, like more of the like shape-based ones, here's filters. So we're just going to create a rectangle, size it as appropriate, and then we're going to change the corner radius. So that looks like maybe a 5. Yep, that looks okay. Maybe a 3. Yeah, and then we're going to put the text in the middle. Okay, that is the wrong text size, so we're going to detach. And then I think this is called button name, so that is correct now. Make this white, and then center it. Oops. And then that is what that button looks like. Okay, and then we're going to move on to playlists. So here, probably start out with the simplest shape, which is the square on the side. So that'd be like that. Then get the text, shake it up, soundtrack. Okay, this is not the right size right now, so we're gonna detach and then attach the correct one. So I think that's playlist name. Yep. And then we're going to put the user at the bottom. Okay, fix the text size. Playlist author. Yep. And then we're going to change the colors. So this is the white. So I'm going to choose the white here. And then here is the gray. So we're going to put that there. Okay. And then we can put in an image here later during the high fidelity stages, but yeah. Cool. So that's everything on this page. Does anyone have any questions?
I think they're free. I think this is good. I think we can move on to the components part. Just leave them,
Okay.
and they can do the
Okay.
recreating later.
Okay. So then componentizing. So what we can do is we can create the things you just made, group them, and then make them components so that you can access them in the assets panel, and that you can, if you make a change to one, the master component, all the changes will be reflected through every other instance of that. So to start it off, we're just going to drag all of these on to the screen. Actually, should we make them components first?
Yeah, I'd make them components first.
Okay, so we're gonna make them components first and then drag them to the screen to replicate it. So first we're gonna drag these. Yep, pretty simple. So in order to componentize these, you just click on, oh wait, should I have, okay, I'll do that again. You can make them components first, it might be easier. Okay, so to componentize it, you basically just click on this button up here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. But yeah, then you made a component, and then you can do the same for everything else. But for usually, we don't make text components. We make them styles, but just for the sake of like this dragging exercise, we're gonna make them components. Yeah, so we're just gonna componentize everything first. Pretty simple. Okay, oops. And then if you need to, the components will be available on the side. Yep. Cool. And then to create an instance of a component, you just copy and paste. So now this would be an instance of that. Then you can place it here. And then the tab. Go here. And then for these, you're gonna have to make some edits. But when you make a component, you can still change like the text, and the original component will not be affected. But if you do things like you get rid of this, the component will be affected. So now it's gone. But if you want it back, you can put it in all instances of the component will still have them. But yeah, the text is editable and the color is editable on the instances, and they won't affect the like original. So here we're just gonna make this artists. We don't want this here because artist is not a selected tab. So we're going to hide this. Okay. And then this is albums. Oops. Oh, they're all up there for some reason. Okay. Okay. And then we can build out the other parts like here. Yep, pretty much just drag and drop at this point. Create a playlist. And then liked songs. And then the rest are just playlists now. Okay, so that is what that looks like. Oh, and then the nav bar, I forgot. You just drag this in. Yep, and then, yeah, we can work on the other screen. So again, componentize everything. Pretty simple. Okay, and then we can drag them in. And then rotate this a bit. Nice. Okay, and then playlist shortcuts. And then we have to do this title, so we can again create a component of this, change the text. Then build these. Cool. Then another section title. Okay, and then we have the albums. And then we'll put the nav bar in again. Oops. Okay. Make sure that this is at the front. Oh, this is not in the frame. Okay. Put this. Okay. Yep. So that is basically how to componentize and then drag those components into a screen. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, be sure to hide the image now.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need it.
Cool. So this is what it looks like now. Where's the image?
It's the picture called BG that's locked.
Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, so that's what it would look like. Here, you can do the same. Yep. So these pretty much look like mid-fidelity Spotify screens, right? So the next step in the process would be to turn them into high fidelity. Using the pre-existing styles and icons that you have made for yourself. So there's what we'll do here. Does anyone have any questions before we turn them into high fidelity screens? Cool beans. Okay. So these are on the screens you can see here. These are all components of these are all instances of the components you see here. So we're going to change these components to using the color styles to turn them into high fidelity. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this just to show like the before and after of what the power of components can do. So yeah, first we're going to take this and then put the background color in. So that would be, wait, we can use the color picker. Is it? It should be black. Just make it the black. Yep. Okay, and then based on what we see on the screen here, we can change the main component and see it reflected on the screen here. So music is white. So we're going to make the text white. Yep. And then podcasts is this gray color. Even though the main component is white, we can go in and still change the color of this because this is an instance. So we're going to make it the gray. And then for playlists, we also want to make it white. Yep, so now everything you see here is white, and we want to make the bar at the bottom green. So we can go in here and change this to primary green. And then you can see it reflected here. And then for each of these, we also want to make sure that the text is white. So change the cool. So now you can see the text. Let's make sure that these are the correct color. So albums and artists are this gray color, so let's change it to gray. The text here should also be white, so let's make it that. And then the background is the lighter black. Okay, and then let's make this the green that you see here. Nice. And then we can change this heart to white. And then we can do the images last here because then I have to import them. But yeah, let's work on the nav bar for now. This is supposed to be that gray color. Oh, I think this is the lighter black, but change the background here. This will be, and then the text will be white. Oh, I don't know why this is still. Okay, yeah, but now it is white here. Oops, I don't think this is supposed to be. What color is this? Okay, let's make this the darker black. Okay, that looks good. Just sharpen it up a bit. This is white. Okay. Then we'll do this page. I'll go back in and put in the album colors in a second. Okay, but same thing here. Make the background the black color. Change these texts to white. Yep. So you can see all three of these just changed because I changed the main component. Also white. The playlist shortcuts are this lighter black color. So I will change that. Okay, and then the names are white. Nice. And then these playlist names are supposed to be white. We can change that. And then, even though you can't see it at the bottom there, these names are also supposed to be white, so I'll just change it. Okay, and then now we can put in the images. So in order to indicate that an image should be placed there, we can go back to the main component and change the fill to, oops, not there, change the fill to image. So yeah, so now all of them, all the instances indicate that it should be an image. So we can just put some in. I have a couple saved, but I can choose image. Okay. Yeah, so we can do that for the rest of them. For here, for the liked songs and create playlist, we can just go back to reflect. We can make a gradient to reflect this. Let me just change this component to the correct one, to correct colors first though. So this is the black. Is that the black? No, it's the lighter black. And then this one would be the white. Just double checking. Yeah. Oops. Yep. So now that is correct. For liked songs, we can take this gray and then make sure that the fill is the same as that. So you can choose the linear fill. First color, take from here. Second color, we take from here. Let's see what that looks like. Cool. And then we can just rotate it in the same direction. Yep. And then we can just continue to put in playlists, albums here. Yep. And then we can do the same here. Yep. Are there any questions at this point?
Does anyone have confusions about like how components work or like what can you change? Feel free to ask them right now.
Yep, or I think we'll be doing like more, like a little bit more complex explorations, or not explorations, like I'll show you some more tips and tricks relating to components and design systems after this. So if you have any questions now, you can ask them. Okay, also I only like listen to 2 types of music, so I'm just repeating these album covers. Okay.
No, it's fine. Okay, why don't you go over variance? At least we have like 5 minutes for questions at the end.
Yeah. But yeah, as you can see, this was very fast and looks very different than what we started out with. Yep. Okay, so the last thing is variance. So you may have things like a navigation bar that overall it would look the same, but if you click on the navigation bar and go to search, the whole bar will look different than if it's on the home page compared to if it's at the library. So what we can do is we can have variants for components that are basically the same but have very slight differences. So when you click on home, search, or library, the icon either becomes bolded or it becomes bolded in the tab that you're in. So currently we're in the home tab, so you can see that the home icon is filled in, but we want to create an unselected state as well. So what should it look like? What should home look like when it is not being selected, when you're in a different tab? So we can create variants. So we have two homes. One will be the selected version, one will be the unselected version. So I'm just going to take that off. To create a variant, you first make both of them components. And then you can combine as variants. And then you can name it something like home. And then you can go in and change the properties of each of these. So we're going to call this property selected. And then for the first one, this will be what it looks like when home is selected. So we're going to name selected as true. And then for this, we're going to name it as false. And then what you can do is you can drag these somewhere else. And then if you want to toggle between selected and unselected, you just press the little toggle. And you can do the same for the other ones. So duplicate that. Make this bolder. Yep. And then make these components. And then combine. So this will be called search. And then do the same thing. So oh wait, this is the selected version. So I did it backwards. Yep. And then for the library, do the same. So this will be okay. And then be here. Combine these two as variants. Name this as library. This would be selected. This would be false. Let me just separate these out a bit. Okay, and then if you want to put them into the navigation bar, yeah, you can just toggle between them after you. Here, I can just put one in. But you can just toggle between selected. Oops, the other one is not the correct color. I should make both these white. Yep, but here you can toggle between selected and unselected. Yep.
You guys
Cool.
find it interesting if you do true or false, it's a toggle.
Yeah, I think it's very like like Cody, like Boolean type of thing. Yep. So that's just a little extra trick. Cool. I think that wraps up design systems. Does anyone have any questions? I know this was a super fast workshop, but hopefully it taught you a little bit more about how to use design systems in Figma and the purpose of having a design system.
Okay.
Let's go see what it will look like.
Yeah, so like if you change the primary color to pink, just go to your styles.
Oh, here it is. Oh,
Which is why we don't name them by their color description, because that's bad. But like if you
oh my
change
god, now it's
everything-
pink.
Yeah, everything's changed to pink. Like it literally, I can't believe I used to do this by hand.
Yeah. Now it's blue. See on the
Exactly.
Yep.
Make it yellow like Snapchat.
black and yellow. Oh my
Black and
god.
yellow, black and yellow.